who decided that it wasn't good enough to just be negative. And that's what's possible. In politics, it's what's possible in life, if you are willing to join with other people to push and to get things done in the right way. Now, I want to talk to you just for a second about this values business, because I think today it means as much as it's ever meant. I've been thinking about it for 10 years. I wrote a book about it called Stand for Something. And I want to just suggest to you that the values of honesty and integrity and personal responsibility are at the forefront. Normally when I travel with a guy who comes and he's got some kids, and I want to tell you about him. One of his grown daughters is a single mom. She's raising 2 kids. She's a flight attendant. Now, she gets up at 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning to go do her job. She lives just down the road, to tell you the truth. And it's a tough job. They have a car that they don't know is going to run from day to day. And the 2 kids are going to a Catholic school because she thinks that's where they're going to get good values. Like I say, a broken down car, a small little house, but you know what? They make their mortgage payment. They pay on time. They don't drive things they can't afford. They don't live in a fashion that they can't afford. And then he has another son. He's got 2 kids. One is in college. The other one is going to go to college. He doesn't make much money. His wife has had health issues. She can't work. And you know what? They pay their bills. They don't live in a fancy house. They pay their mortgage on time. They don't have 4 credit cards. They don't live beyond their means, and they don't drive a BMW. Now, if Barack Obama thinks that what we ought to do is to take from them and tax them and beat them up to take their money to give to people who were irresponsible, were trying to flip a house, bought something they couldn't afford, rang up the 4 credit cards, and now we're going to take from them to bail this other group out, it's unconscionable. Absolutely unconscionable. I'll tell you about another little value. When did we ever get to the point where we thought because somebody was successful, worked hard, and made something, that we didn't have the right to beat them up and take their money and give it to somebody else? Now let me just suggest a couple numbers to you. If you want to write these down, feel free. 1%, the top 1% of American earners pay 40% of the total revenue to the federal government. Now, I don't know how much more we think they ought to pay. The top 5% of earners in America pay 60% of the total bill. And you know what? The top 50% of earners pay 97% of the bill. So what do we want to do? Punish the rich and the successful and take their money and redistribute wealth? Absolutely not in my book, and we better stand on that principle as a Republican Party. And we ought to stand on that principle as people who understand what makes this country tick. And I hope you agree, and I hope you'll start standing up on this issue, because if we don't, America's not going to be the kind of place that we've seen it throughout most of our lifetime. These values are critical. They're critical to our party, they're critical to our country, they're critical to us as human beings. In 1976, I met a man who I thought enveloped virtually all of these values, and his name was Ronald Reagan. And I know the other day